Welcome to Trans World Radio Bonaire, Netherlands Antilles, 800 AM.
Trans World Radio began with a ministry to Spain from Monte Carlo. And the second station that Trans Radio opened 10 years after the original station began to broadcast was Bonaire. Here from the island of Bonaire, we broadcast into the Amazon region and up into Cuba and Haiti and the Dominican Republic with a 100,000 watt medium wave AM transmitter. We broadcast in languages such as Portuguese, Spanish, English, Creole, Baniwa, and Makushi, which are two Indian languages for the Amazon region. Being distant from the people that we minister to is very difficult. It isn't very often that we get a chance to meet with the people that we are ministering for and to.
I am a 70-year-old widow and have been listening to your programs for the past 20 years. I've been richly blessed. I've written to Through the Bible, and now I write to you. I listen each night. Please pray for me because I have a heart and an eye condition.
We recognize from our listener letters that really does give us encouragement that people are listening and are encouraged by the broadcast. And some of the mail that we get are from prisoners, and obviously there's not a lot of ministry that can happen in some of the prisons that are around this region. And so if people are being fed and drawn to Christ through the broadcast, then that's an encouragement to us. Probably the country that we have the biggest heart for is Cuba. And communications with Cuba is extremely difficult. And we know the Christian radio is very, very limited in Cuba. And for 40 years, Cuba has been a target for Trans Radio Bonaire. And it continues to be that way. And we know that there are people listening there and that are hearing the Spanish broadcasts. And we just have to trust God that He's using those broadcasts. Many of the local stations in the countries that we broadcast to have Christian radio stations, but many of them can be influenced by local politics. And because we are a remote site and we broadcast in many different countries, we are basically apolitical. We do not get involved in any way in any kind of political situations in any country. That's part of our standard. And so many of the Christians in these countries look to Trans Radio as the standard of good, solid Christian biblical teaching. Venezuela, and particularly the Caracas area, can hear us all day long. And what I would like to do is to broadcast all day. We recognize that we can't get into the city of Caracas during the day because there's so much competition and noise, radio noise within that city, that in the daylight hours we probably can't be heard. And so that's why our broadcast or our broadcast day is most effective in the evening. So we begin to broadcast at 5 o'clock in the evening and go until midnight. And we come back on at 3 in the morning and broadcast until 8. But after that, we've been shutting our station off. But my goal is to continue those broadcasts because I know that although we're not as far-reaching during the day as we could be, there is still a tremendous population in Venezuela that can hear us all day long. Some of the prayer requests we have would be for staffing. We're always looking for engineers and people who are willing to commit to some time and be here to do production work. I'm sure finances are always an issue in ministry, but if we could have more sponsored programs, that would be a wonderful answer to prayer.
You've been listening to the Ministry of Trans World Radio, broadcasting from the Caribbean island of Bonaire in the Netherlands Antilles.